mindset. So the reason why we're starting with mindset is because if none of us are in the right mindset, basically all the stuff that we're going to teach you afterwards is not going to mean anything. Because if we have the wrong mindset, we're stuck in our limiting beliefs, we let ourselves be guided through fear, we're not going to do anything because we're scared. So if we understand mindset, understand how to set proper goals and things like that, we're gonna act basically. And you got a support group here that's more than willing to help you. Then we're gonna jump into loans to talk about the different loan products that are offered and how to use that obviously to invest. And then we're gonna talk about the real estate investing. So seller financing, fix and flips, and things like that. So we're gonna run through a couple of case scenarios. And then we're gonna end it with life insurance and how to protect all of your assets once you accumulate these properties. So again, ask questions. There is no dumb question. That's why we're here. We're all here to learn. So without further ado, we're going to present the first presenter. So our first presenter is Gerardo Lemus. So he's been investing in real estate since 2017. He is a licensed NLP coach and also a real estate agent. He's worked in a lot of fix and flips and things like that. So he brings a ton of knowledge. He's obviously all these guys are really good friends. So Gerardo.
Thank you, Steven. How's everybody today?
Good, good.
Okay, first of all, I lost my voice 3 days ago, so I'm going to do the best I can to project. If you can't hear me, let me know. I know a couple of you have done mindset, but do you know what your mind can do, the power that it can do, where it can lead you, where it can take you away from? Our mind can take us either to the deepest depths of our life, or it can take us to the highest peaks. And it's up to us to see where that goes. Where is your focus? Where is it that you think? How many of you guys have ever shopped for a car, and let's say it's a yellow car, and then next thing you know is everywhere you drive you see a yellow car, right? Or a yellow truck, but it's there. Or if you're looking for a supercar and it's a Lamborghini, you're gonna start seeing them everywhere. And then all of a sudden you say, well, everybody has it now, but do they really all have it, or is your attention just there? So that's a little bit of an example of where your mind takes you, depending on where you're focused. We all have beliefs, good beliefs, bad beliefs. They're based on our values. Some good beliefs that we might have is, if you've been going to the gym for a while, I'm getting strong, I'm stronger. I'm being able to lift more weights. If you start earning money in your business, hey, I'm starting to achieve success. Or I'm starting to develop and grow other people. Beliefs, there are some beliefs that are ingrained so deep in us. For example, I know my skin is brown. That's a very firm belief. And then have you guys ever heard of affirmations when people wake up and say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that? Mm-hmm. You have to kind of think on one end, if you have to affirm it, is it true? How do you take it from that step of it just being a belief to being concrete fact, to where you wake up and you don't have to tell yourself, I'm a millionaire, because you're a millionaire. There's, on the other end, limiting beliefs. I know when I was little, I would always tell my dad, hey, I can't do this because I'm short, And I remember one day he stops me, he's like, mijo, he's like, greatness isn't from here down. It's not your height, it's from here up. And then since that day, that was never an issue. So he took that limiting belief, crushed it to where I can grow. What are some limiting beliefs that you guys have had in the past? Hiram?
Just whenever you're facing a hard task, you're like, damn, I don't know if I can do this. So
Yeah.
just, constantly questioning things. We all go through that. But reminding myself that I've done hard things in the past. This is just another hard thing that I can do.
Yeah, and it helps you face that limiting belief. Angel?
I actually just learned that I'm not patient enough. So I think that's a huge thing. Well, I'm not patient with others, 100%.
Yeah.
And she knows this because she's my sister, okay? But I'm not patient with myself. So if I'm not patient with myself, then obviously that's why I'm not patient with anybody else. And it's true, because I want things now.
Yeah.
I don't shop online because I don't want to wait for the stupid package
You
to
just
get in
want
my
it
house.
now.
I just want it now, So it's the same thing with everything else. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think one of my my limits is my own patience with myself.
Yeah.
So I
and it's
think-
good that you're conscious of it now, huh?
Yeah, I had somebody approach us.
Bring it
It was good.
No, you need those. You two are partners, right? So there's this thing I got taught a few years ago that we date or we marry our unconscious mind. So they can typically spot out what we might have to work on a little bit faster than
Yeah.
we can. And that kind of, I mean, before I go to the next slide, staying on limiting beliefs, how many of you have heard the story of the elephants and how they get trained? Since they're babies, they get tied up to a giant tree that they try to pull for months and years, and then finally they get to this breaking point that they just stop trying. And then once the trainers know they've gotten them to that, they can tie that same rope to a tiny stake in the ground, which the elephant can for sure move, even a human can move it, but they have that belief now that as soon as that rope goes on, no matter how much they try, they're gonna stay there. So, talking about the unconscious mind, in the book Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, he talks about how we spend 95% of our lives unconsciously, and only 5% consciously. So you may ask yourself, like, how is that possible? Well, let me give you examples. Like you just said one, right? You went your whole life up until that point believing that you were maybe patient. And then it took somebody else to say, hey, you're not. And then that's where it comes to the conscious mind, to where you can actually start doing something for it. Your unconscious mind runs millions and millions of bits of data per second, and your conscious mind can maybe handle like 172 bits out of those 40 million that are coming in. And a little example, or a little, how can we call it, a little exercise we can do to show you just how much information we delete. I want you just to pick maybe a corner of the TV. Just look up, pick a spot anywhere on the wall on the TV. While you maintain contact on that spot, just notice your awareness expanding. What did you visually delete? What are you noticing now? Do you maybe see the person next to you? Do you see certain doors that you had deleted up until I said it? What about auditorily? What did you delete? What do you hear that was deleted? Cocomelon. And while you maintain contact there, what do you feel? What feelings did you delete? Maybe the seat pressed against your legs, or the shirt pressed against your body, or your breathing. So our brain deletes so quick because it just can't handle all the information until you bring it to consciousness. So it makes you wonder how, because going back to the first slide where your focus goes, that's where energy goes, that's where what you attract. If you spend your day focusing on, oh, this went bad, this just happened, you're gonna keep focusing on that, and instead of finding solutions, you're just gonna stay focused on what went bad. Or we can put that to the side and then maybe reach out to somebody. Sometimes that helps, where they can help you change your focus. I know me and Brian do it all the time. If I get in a slump, he's like, okay, how can we focus on a solution? And then all of a sudden, all the problems that I was focusing on, they're gone. And it's like, okay, now we're finding solutions, strategies. It's one of the presuppositions of NLP, and it says that there are no unresourceful people, there are only unresourceful states. And that's with everybody. Everybody is truly doing everything they can with the tools they have. And sometimes it's up to us to help each other. Hey, you know what? I don't see in your tool belt you have a hammer. Here's mine. Like, let me help you out. Or you don't have a saw. You're trying to cut that tree with dental floss. It's not going to work. Here's the saw. And that's essentially how it is. You know, is as soon as you get those other tools, those other resources, it really starts to open your mind to different possibilities. And if we live 95% of our life unconscious, we should really start to maybe focus a little bit of that consciousness, maybe like 1% on discovering what we're ignoring. So what can we do to eliminate these limiting beliefs, these negative emotions, these values that were installed that might not be helping us? First of all, by assisting seminars like this, trainings, where you're surrounding yourself by people that maybe have already gone through certain things that you're going through. If you're barely starting into flips and you come here, there's multiple people in the room that have already done a flip. Instead of you figuring out and rewriting the entire book, just take the hand of somebody that's already been running while you're just barely starting to crawl. Another one is by assisting trainings or hiring a coach that focuses on eliminating limiting beliefs, negative emotions, because they can get down to the root. What happens when you pull a weed just from the top?
The root's still there, it's gonna grow back.
The root's still there, so it comes up. So you have to yank it from the roots to where that negative emotion or limiting belief is just gone. There's no point or way for it to regrow. If something else grows, cool. Now you move on to that next emotion that you faced, or that new belief. Because as we grow, we're gonna start, it's like an onion, you start shedding these layers, right? The limiting beliefs I have now are gonna be different than the limiting beliefs I have when I'm making 10 million a year. They're gonna be so different that I don't even know what they could be. Like, they haven't came up yet because I'm not there. You can read books to develop your skills. If you're not that great at finances, cool, pick up some financing books. If you're not that good at emotional resilience, get books that teach you about your emotions, how we process them, how they work. If you don't know real estate, pick up some books on that. If you want to know how to build wealth and save it for generations, there's books on that, like the Rockefellers. There's so many people that have already done what we want to do that we really don't have to invent it, we don't have to figure it out. It's all there. We're in the age of information. Associate yourself with people that are doing what you want to do. It kind of goes back to that thing where tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. Or you're the 5 incomes of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. You're the 5, essentially like personalities of the 5 people you hang out with the most. If you hang out with 4 people that are partying, you're the 5th. If you hang out with 4 millionaires, you're the 5th. And it just keeps going. And then most importantly, being extremely conscious about how your thoughts create your reality. If you just leave it up to chance, it's gonna feel like chance. Sometimes we look at people and we say, dang, that person's lucky, like, how do they do that? Are they really lucky, or has their attention and focus been on those goals that they want to achieve? Right? I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in any of that. It's our preparation meeting an opportunity, and you just have the resources to take a step. A little exercise. I want you all to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Now imagine yourself in a kitchen. It can be anybody's kitchen. Notice on the counter there's a cutting board, and you walk towards it. You notice that on the cutting board there's a knife, there's a lime. As you pick up that knife and slice through the lime, you notice the juices flowing. The knife gets wet, you set it aside. You pick up that lime and you put it to your mouth, and you squeeze. And you feel the citrus behind your tongue. And then you can put on some chips or something. Just kidding. But how was that? Like, your body naturally feels like it's the real thing. You can't tell a vision. You can't tell what's imaginary and what's not. So if we're constantly running patterns in our head where we're focusing on what the negative thing could happen, you're gonna attract it, like, simply put. I remember one time when I was 16, I would be driving and I'd be texting, and I'd come home, my mom would say, "What are you doing? Why are you texting? You're gonna get in an accident." I'd ignore it. The next day, come home from work, texting, pull up, "You're gonna get in an accident." 2 weeks later, an accident. So we have to remember that other people's words can also infiltrate our unconscious mind because they're suggestions.
Especially religion.
Exactly. She has, so,
And
if
music
it's
just-
your mom, she has a little bit more music,
Music a lot.
Yeah.
social media. I don't know if you guys, I know it happens to me, but say I'm bored and I start scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, and there's a lot of like negative things on there. I start to personally feel like bad, and I
That's why I don't watch the news.
exactly.
I
the news
personally
is
do not
probably
watch
the biggest
news.
one. I don't watch it either. I
You
would
know,
stay
the
completely
big
away.
example is in
Mhm.
Mexico. In Mexico, that's happened in September, the
The
earthquake. So
Uh-huh.
now the people
Now they
just
all the
waiting,
energy,
for
all
the
the
earthquakes,
energy.
and the last past years
Uh-huh.
is the earthquakes in September. And it's the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
day, so
No, and it's all true. There's
Yeah.
this book, it's called The Field, and they talk about the 0 point field within atoms. Because even within atoms, there's space, right? And the thing that travels through that is energy. So our thoughts create this field, and we literally, how they say, the law of attraction. If you focus on something, it's going to send the energy through the field, and you're going to attract that thing, whatever it might be, good or bad. The field doesn't know good from bad, there just is. So it's like, what are you focusing on? Even right now, you might start thinking of like, oh shit, like, I've been thinking about this the past couple of days. Maybe I should stop. What do you want instead? That's the main question I ask myself all the time. If I start thinking of something, oh, what if this flip goes bad? No, what do I want instead? Step on the side. And what is it that I really want? I want this deal to go good. Like, our brains are so powerful and people don't realize that. You literally have a quantum computer that will give you everything you want. It's just up to you to tell it exactly what you want. The conscious mind is the goal setter. So that's why when you sit down, write your goals, you're consciously setting those goals. Once you have them, once you know where you're going, your unconscious mind just does everything naturally. It'll take the actions at the unconscious level where you don't even notice that you're talking to a certain person because your mind knows that it's going to get you closer to that goal. It just does. It just takes the action. So let's talk about fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Fixed mindset, they avoid challenges. They avoid literally anything. From when they were little and they wanted to maybe join a sports team. Oh no, I can't, I'm not good enough. Growth mindset, they view those challenges like, hey, I've never played soccer in my life and I'm 22, let's see if I can get to the pros. Like, to that level. And I actually have a friend, his name's John Madsen. He had never touched a football until college. Never. Like, he never even thought about playing football. But as soon as he went to college, he's like, I'm gonna play for the U. What did he do? He made it on the U team. And he even told himself, I will get to the NFL. Right after college, he got drafted to the Raiders. He played with them a few years. So it's like, he had so much trust and commitment in himself that he did it. Like, there was nobody that could tell him. You wouldn't think anybody that never touched a football in high school would make it to the NFL. Fixed mindset, they refuse to receive criticism or feedback. You try to tell them anything that could help them, they put up a wall. Instead of saying, like the growth mindset, they embraced it, say, hey, you know what? I never noticed that. Let me take a step back, analyze it, and then start taking actions towards it. They focus on improving yourself if you have a fixed mindset. Growth mindset, they focus on the process, not the end result. It's about genuinely enjoying the process. If you're on your way to get a certain license, they're enjoying the classes, they're learning and developing themselves every step of the way instead of just saying, why am I not at the end yet? Fixed mindset, they feel threatened by other success. They say, oh, if, you know what, Steven, I saw you do that deal, why can't I? That's messed up. Instead of saying, hey, like, dude, good job, like, teach me how you got there. They can't accept failures or mistakes. Growth mindset, they learn and grow from failures. There's this thing I live by. There is no failure, only feedback. There's no failure.
I struggle with that a lot.
A
lot. I'm so hard on myself.
And you have to take a
dumb,
step
you
back.
dumb,
Yeah,
why'd you do
exactly.
that?
You never truly fail until you stop trying.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
So if you're constantly getting feedback, it's like, well, I just lost his name. Edison, I think, that said that I found 1,000 ways not to create a life.
Right, yeah, very cool.
Fixed mindset, they shy away from unfamiliar things. They won't even touch it if they don't know it. They won't give themselves the opportunity to develop a new skill, start a new career. They're just fixed on where they're at. They're really comfortable. Growth mindset, they always step out of their comfort zone. I'm a firm believer, and Brian knows this probably better than anybody. If I'm comfortable, I'm like, how do I get into some debt so I can be uncomfortable? Good debt, obviously, not bad debt. But how do I do something to get me out of that comfort zone? Because there's essentially 3 zones. You have your comfort zone, you have your growth zone, and you have your hyper growth. The hyper growth zone is where you see those people that they start something and it takes off to millions within a year or 2. And they're not really even perceiving any negative part of it because they're receiving so much benefits from it, so much rewards that their unconscious mind is like, this isn't even hard, this is easy. And then fixed mindset, they believe that talent is static. Growth mindset, they believe that talent is ever improving. Which is true, it's practice makes perfect. Where is it that you're lacking that you can improve on and continue to grow from there? So in conclusion, having a growth mindset is one of the most important, if not the most important things to have. It's gonna determine whether you grow or stay stagnant, you get out of your comfort zone or stay in the comfort zone. And somebody could give you $1 million right now, but if you have a fixed mindset, you're just gonna spend it. What happens to lottery winners? They go broke within 2 years, and it's statistically proven within 2-3 years they're back to where they were or worse. We have this thing where I teach my clients where, you know your thermostat at home, where you have your temperature set, and as soon as it gets to a certain low, the heater will kick up and bring it up here. Or as soon as it gets a certain heat, it'll kick on and come back down here. We have that financially. If you have a peak on your mindset of how much money you can make, unconsciously you'll hit it there, and your brain will say, hey, this is too much money, how do I waste it and keep you back here? Or, here's the other side, I used to struggle with this a lot. You wait until your bank account hits here, and then you're like, oh shit, what do I do? How do I get back up here? So we have that thermostat. The point is, and the goal is to have it grow. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you guys.